Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we're bringing you a Minish Cap Randomizer tournament first season race. It is dragonc0 versus Hendrus, and sorry we had some issues, so the race is kind of off to start. And
yeah, but we are live now.
Yes, we are finally live. So I'm going to set it off to Myth, who is graciously doing commentary today. So thank you, and I hope you're doing well. And
all right, so everyone, we have finally started our Minish Cap tournament. We've got our first match going off again. We've got Hendrus and dragonc0. So, what have we got at the start of the seed? Okay, we get bombs straight away. So we're going to use these bombs to go and check the cave over by Link's house, the Rupee Mania cave. Of course, getting an item like the bombs to be able to check this cave in the first starting area is really important. dragonc0 decides to go into town instead. Hendrus has found his bow in the cave. Nothing important in the shop. And we have a small amount of route divergence going on here, but mostly our runners are deciding to stay in town. They do have the option right now to go over to Minish Woods, and it looks like we're going to have Hendrus that's going to do that right now. They're going to go through South Hyrule Field and head over to the Minish Woods area, whereas Dragon's going to decide to go to North Hyrule Field instead and check out these tingle trees. We are also still waiting for one of our runners to check the elements at the on the pause screen, so we know which dungeons are going to be required, which ones are not. So this is not my seed. This is not a myth seed. This has been a seed that's been generated by Nori. So it shouldn't be a Soupy Trolley seed. It should be a fairly nice one. And we find a bottle in the beanstalk in South Hyrule Field, and the Pegasus boots, and there's the sword and tingle trees. So we have progression in different areas of the map. So our runners are gonna have to swap back over and check the spots that each other have checked to be able to finish everything off. And the flippers in Eastern Hills as well. So Hendrus has found the boots and the flippers and a bottle. Dragon's found a sword. And they're both going to be heading into Minish Woods now. Okay, we've got a map check. So Cave of Flames and Temple of Droplets are not required. So we do need to go to Fortress and Palace. So all Kinstones are required. And we've also got the Royal Crypt. So Boots and Graveyard Key are also required. So those boots are a required item. Deeper Shrine is also required, and we've got our flippers to be able to get access to that. And that is 2 swords for Dragon. All they need to find is one more sword. When they get their red swords, then with the spin attack, they can make their way over to Western Wood and check out those the huge jackpot that's over there. Meanwhile, Hendrus is going to be checking the flipper spot. There's the Graveyard Key. So we've already got the 2 items that we need to be able to access Royal Crypt. All we need is a blue sword at this point. He also saw his other bow. What is this seed? Nori, please roll every single seed for us. I wish I was playing this seed. Okay, Dragon's gonna go into the school basement and check out those spots. Hendrus has finished up everything in the Bellari area and is... Oh wait, no, he needs to do Bellari first. Then he's going to head into town. into the Minish village. Yeah, let's hope that this seed isn't going to be a get everything at the start except for go mode, which is going to be hidden at the on Octo. Okay, there is a Kinstone for Caster Wilds. Dragon found the cape. This is absolutely loaded, this seed. Go mode Octo is a possibility at this state. dragonc0's just having a think in town now. What locations does he have access to in town that he can do? Meanwhile, Hendrus is making his way through reverse Minish Woods. The flippers are super handy when you're doing Minish Woods because you can avoid those lily pad cycles and just swim across whilst you're a Minish. Yeah, so our runners completely split off and decided to go to different sides of this seed at the beginning, but it has paid off for both of them so far. However, they are going to have to retrace each other's steps to find the items that they're missing. And we're getting a bunch of Twitch subs, thanks to Allison and Magi Obi-Wan for their Twitch Prime subs. Right, Hendrus is making his way over to the North Minish Woods and Lon Ranch area. dragonc0 is doing Minish checks in town now. Yeah, Hendrus does have access to Goron Cave that he's going to do now. And there is a golden kinstone in the back of the hearth. That looked like a Cloudtops kinstone. It went by very quickly. Right, Hendrus does have his light arrows, so he's going to be using those to break the trees. But he now he's doing the tingle trees, he's going to be able to get his sword, his first sword, and then... Oh, he did skip out on his sword in the Lon pot. So Dragon's going to be checking the dojo in town. He has he can check 3 of the items on here at the moment. So if he goes to Eastern Hills, he'll get his boots and be able to check all of the items out. Yeah, so Hendrus has found his first sword. His second sword is going to be in the Lon pot, and his cape is going to be somewhere here in Northfield. Did anyone see where exactly the cape was? Because we were getting items at the same time. Was it Northwell? It was underneath the school. Okay, so Hendrus needs to go underneath the school. Right, he checked the visible spots there and didn't see anything important in Vale Falls. And for dragonc0, they're going to be heading over to South Field right now. If they head over to Eastern Hills, they're going to pick up their a lot of their items. They're going to be picking up their a bottle and the boots. And also their graveyard key is also located in the Flipper's Cave in Minish Woods. So Hendrus is, with the boots, they can check the spots in the castle garden and check these fountains. Right, Dragon's making his way up the beanstalk. He's going to be finding his boots and the bottle there. Right, so our runners are pretty much neck and neck at this point. Hendrus is missing the a sword and the cape, and dragonc0's actually probably got more items at this point. Right, and he picks up his flippers. Yes, unfortunately, the Jabbernutt, even though it was a really early check, it was not required because we've already got our flippers. Hendrus is going to head over to... Yep, he's making his way over to Cave of Flame, to Mount Crenel. They're going to be going through Trilby and then go up Mount Crenel. Meanwhile, dragons in Minish Woods, they're going to be picking up their graveyard key. Yeah, Hendrus did skip the moat, so we don't know what items are over there. But he is going to be making his way up Mount Crenel. Will we see dragonc0 decide to dip into Deepwood Shrine? Okay, there's the power bracelets for Hendrus. Yeah, so dragonc0 has skipped the Minish Flipper's Cave on the side of the Minish village. They do need to make sure that they go back there and pick up their graveyard key from that location. Yeah, Hendrus does not have the grip ring yet, so they will be picking up hot spring water with the bottle. However, the grip ring is going to be a required item since Palace of Winds is a required dungeon. We're absolutely gonna see the grip ring at some point. Hendrus is making a bit of a gamble right now, deciding to go up Mount Crenel. It is what is available in Logic currently. However, it is not a required dungeon. Yeah, so this is hurting Hendrus right now because if he had the cape, he could be able to skip these those speed up points. However, the cape is in a very nasty spot, being in the school basement, so it may take a while before he picks up his cape. He's also running out of bombs. He's only got 2 bombs right now, and he doesn't have the a shield. Oh, he gets a lucky bomb drop there. That was really important for Hendrus there. He can now continue through the rest of Mount Crenel without having to back out to find more bombs. Right, dragonc0's gone back to the Flipper's Cave. Luckily, he does have the cape, which makes this cave a lot easier. Right, what is Hendrus going to be picking up here? This is also incredibly healthy seed. Already, 15 minutes in, our runners have... Hendrus has 9 hearts, and dragonc0's on 7. It's fairly often that we don't see at an hour in, we could still have 6 hearts. Dragon picks up his graveyard key. That's going to be one of the required items for this seed. Even though we are picking up lots of items very early on, this still may not be a jet seed. The dungeon layout is not a nice layout. Having Temple of Droplets as a non-element dungeon, there's so many items there, it's very likely we're going to have to enter there anyway, even if it is non-required. And also Cave of Flames, not very nice being a non-element dungeon. Also, Palace of Winds and Fortress of Winds are both required, which means our go mode may possibly be a Kinstone. And we will have to acquire all of the Kinstones. Right, Hendrus does have enough bombs right now to make their way through the rest of Mount Cronal. They don't have their grip ring, so they can't really do too much here. They've only got 2 more checks left. And it's 1 more now after this fairy cave. Also, not mentioned already, they do have their spin attack. Their spin attack was in Minish Woods, so Hendrus got their spin attack a long time ago, and Dragon's just picked it up now. Okay, and that is it for Hendrus. They have not found any progression there in Mount Cronal. Was it Roll Attack they just picked up? Right, Hendrus is going to be making their way into the moat, whilst Dragon makes their way out of Minish Woods. They're going to be heading over to Lake Hylia. With the cape, they can do a lot of checks in Lake Hylia right now. Unfortunately for Hendrus, this is really hurting him. He needs to be going and getting his cape from the school basement. It is a possible last location, though, because it is a very long spot to reach. Dragon's going to be checking out the Goron Cave before they make their way into Lake Hylia. Currently, this seed is looking like there is going to be progression in Lake Hylia, since Hendrus has checked out north. They've just made their way through Mount Cronal, and there wasn't anything in the lower section of Mount Cronal. However, I won't be surprised if Hendrus' last location's his cape right now. Yeah, it is fairly common that we see people avoid the town well until you have the ability to open all of the checks, because the mitts and the blue sword is normally acquired fairly early into a seed. And it does shorten the amount of time it takes to go and check the school basement. And there's another Kinstone for Dragon in the Lonon Minish path. Yeah, Hendrus has nothing left to do in their seed, so they're going to be going and doing checks in town. And there's the Karlov Medal in Lake Hylia. I don't think we've had any of our runners check out the figurine house in town. There is a visible item there, but no one has looked in to see what that item is. dragonc0 is making their way through Lake Hylia right now. They have more checks available to them in the south section of Lake Hylia. Hendrus is doing his Minish checks in town. He's going to pick up his kinstone that is in the back of the hearth. And there's our shield. We have a shield in the cabin in Lake Hylia. Now, to get that, we do need to have the we've got everything except for the power bracelets. If Dragon finds the power bracelets that Hendrus has, then they can go and get that item. However, they can swim with the flippers and pick up this chest that's over here. There is one chest on the little extension part there. And it's just rupees. Alright, Hendrus has done all of his Minish checks in town, and now only has a handful of checks left in the well and also in the bottom of the school. There is another kinstone. That was a Cloudtop's kinstone for Hendrus. Okay, the visible spot in the figurine house is junk. The bracelets Hendrus found in Mount Krenel. Yeah, it was a Krenel Rupee Fairy. So right at the beginning of Mount Krenel. However, the shield is not necessarily required. The shield only unlocks 2 locations, which are the 2 grip ring scrubs. Not the grip ring scrubs, but the 2 Deku scrubs. One in Trilby and one on Mount Krenel. So, shield may not necessarily be required. Yeah, Hendrus is making his way into the school basement. This is possibly a last location for him. He will be finding his sword, his cape. He also needs to go to the Lon Lon pot and pick up his sword from there. Right, Hendrus now has his cape. Yes, a couple of rage slashes on that chest. Right, dragonc0 is doing these Minis checks in Lake Hylia currently. Yeah, Hendrus has nothing else to do now other than go to Lake Hylia, so he's going to be picking up. Yep, he's going to the Lon Lon pot and will be getting his second sword. Yeah, the Minish locations in Lake Hylia turned out to be junk. However, there are a couple more locations left. He's got the freestanding item in Waveblade, and he can possibly also go into Templar Droplets as well. Yeah, at this point, there isn't much left other than the checks in the figurine house and Templar Droplets. It's either one of these 2 locations that we're going to find progression. Of course, we're absolutely hoping that Octo is not going to be a required boss for this. Yep, there are 6 items available in Temple of Droplets right now. When they go into Temple of Droplets, the first 2 ice blocks are always guaranteed to be a small key and a big key. Our runners have just did a little high five there. They were both in the same section at the same time. Yeah, so in Temple of Droplets, there are those a small key and a big key as the guaranteed items at the very start. Then they, when you get the big key, you can go into the main section of the dungeon and pick up 5 freestanding rupee items and then the big chest. So there are 6 items in Temple of Droplets. Hendrus is going to chase the Karlov medal right now, deciding not to opt for Temple of Droplets. So we're going to see what is going to be in the Karlov house. That's a kinstone. So Karlov medal was required. We absolutely needed that kinstone. That is... That looks like Hendrus has... is it two Castor Wilds kinstones and 3 Cloud Tops? Dragon is trying to do the check here in the castle courtyard, but needs to be using... They need to be Minish and go and check in the spot behind the fountain. But Hendrus does have his power bracelet, so he will be able to get the shield from this location. Okay, Dragons found the Minish portal. They're going to shrink and then make their way into the Minish... Okay, they're not. They're going to go and check out the dojo first. Hendrus is going to get disappointed by the Minish checks here in Lake Hylia. Dragons just checked these out and they were all junk. So outside of Temple of Droplets, there is the possibility that those two Deku scrubs do have progression, but there are only 2 spots there, whereas there are 6 in Temple of Droplets. Yeah, the golden rope there is incredibly trolly and always gets in your way. If you go after you shrunk, if you go to the left-hand side, there is a small gap in the hedges that you can make your way through, which completely avoids the rope. Dragon finds the Jabbernuts. Is that going to tell them to go into Deepwood Shrine? Deepwood Shrine has 1 item currently that they can check, and they can open up the Slug Room chest to see if it is required to beat the boss first before going through the rest of the dungeon. So no one has found the Veil Falls kinstone yet, so we don't have a way of making our way up Veil Falls. Okay, Hendrus is going to dip into Temple of Droplets. Temple of Droplets is... does take a while to get set up because you are spending quite a large amount of time just picking up some guaranteed keys at the beginning of the dungeon before you get to the meat of the dungeon, and you can start doing some checks. Yeah, none of our runners have checked this slug room in Deepwood Shrine yet. Deepwood is a required dungeon, so dipping into there to see what is required there is not a bad call. Right, Hendrus has the first small key and has used it to go and check the second ice block. They're going to get their big key. There is still Simon Simulation and the Kirku game. No one has done either of those yet. Yeah, the best form of movement on ice is using the Pegasus boots. It completely negates all of your movement slowdown from being on ice, and you move at the regular speed that the Pegasus boots can move. So Dragon's gonna go and dip into the fountain. They can reach 2 items in there, but they're gonna have to come back later if they find the cane. Okay, Hendrus finds the grip ring. The grip ring is in Temple of Droplets. They can do one more check here in Temple of Droplets, because they have the flippers and the cape. They can go to the underwater pot item. That is the only item that's left here. They do have to bail out after they get that item. Sorry, I got disconnected for a second. So, Dragon has picked up his items from the fountain, but he doesn't have the cane, so he can't do the rest of that. Hendrus has collected everything in Temple of Droplets and the left. Right, Hendrus is going to want to chase up the grip ring now. They're going to... Or they do have a few checks in town first that they want to check out before making their way up Mount Krenel. But Dragon's going to decide to go into Simon's Simulator first. Hendrus can get all of his sword abilities from the dojo in town now that he has the green sword, the cape, and boots. The Karlov Medal had 1 kinstone, and we do need all of the kinstones, so the Karlov Medal was required. Right, what does Simon's Simulator have? Gust Jar! Right, the Gust Jar was available incredibly early on. Right, so town is really loaded in this scene. We had the cape and the Gust Jar here in town. Right, so that gives access to full clear Deepwood Shrine. We do have access to Deepwood Shrine with the flippers and also the Jabbernut. So our runners have different forms of progression right now. Hendrus has the grip ring. He's going to be making his way up Mount Krenel. Dragon has the Gust Jar. Dragon wants to be heading over to Deepwood Shrine and seeing what they can do with the Gust Jar. The Gust Jar also opens up more locations in Temple of Droplets. And Hendrus finds his sword on the Krenel grip ring scrub. So Hendrus has his red sword right now. He's gonna dip into into Greyblade now and check out the 4 items that he's got here, then he immediately wants to go and check out Western Wood. Alright, Hendrus has everything he wants. Hendrus isn't going to bail out just yet. Okay, they've decided they're going to bail out. They thought about going up Mount Krenel a bit more to go and check the top beanstalk, but they have their red sword and want to go over to make their way over to the Western Wood now. Western Wood is is such an important play right now. Yeah, the beanstalk at the top of Mount Krenel does take a very long time to go and reach, and there's only 9 items there, whereas Western Wood has a 15-item rupee cave here, and then the beanstalk has 16 items. There's the cane. Really good picking up the cane there. So Hendrus is going to save some time not having gone up Mount Krenel. He can use the cane to skip going up and around Mount Krenel if he wants to go and go into Cave of Flames. And the lantern! We are getting so much progression right now. There isn't much left in logic to that's needed for Go mode. We need 2 swords and kinstones. And the mitts. It's pretty much it right now. Okay, Hendrus is making his way up to the beanstalk in Western Wood. Yet the party's not over yet in Western Wood. There's still 16 items at the top of here. What else is it going to be? It's very likely going to be a sword up here. There's a sword. Right, now it's a blue... He's got his blue sword. We're looking for one more sword. There's a Cloudtop's kinstone. So we are looking for one more kinstone of each. One more caster kinstone, one more Cloudtop's kinstone, and the Veilful's kinstone. Then we need the mitts. That is 5 items for Go mode. Hendrus is going to be going into Caster Wilds, doing the checks that are available to them there. Meanwhile, Dragon is going to be making use of their Gust Jar, going into Deepwood Shrine. Right, nothing in the first check in Deepwood. Is Deepwood going to be locked by the boss? If Dragon picks up a big key here, that means that the boss is blocking off the rest of the dungeon. Otherwise, it's going to be a small key. It's only a small key. Right, Hendrus picks up a book. Right, Hendrus has decided to dip out of Castor Wilds. That is all he wants to get. The only things that are left are the Minish checks, and they do take a while to reach. So they are going to gamble that there's nothing there. Now, Hendrus is going to be going into the fountain. Fortunately, we don't believe there is anything in there. They've dragonc0 found the gust jar in a different location. But Hendrus can check out Dr. Left's house with the power bracelets and the blue sword that they've got. Yep, Simon Simulator has the gust jar for Hendrus. And dragonc0 needs to get his So the progression is actually incredibly horrible. They need to go to Mount Crenel to get the power bracelets, to go to Lake Hylia to get the shield, to go back to Mount Crenel to get their red sword. They can dip into Templar Droplets and pick up their grip ring, which will help speed up some things, but it won't actually. That's not actually necessary for progression for them. Hendrus does have the cane and will be able to check the Moldoza fight in the fountain. Unfortunately, dragonc0 has got off the lily pad in the basement and needs to quick warp out. There's no shallow water for them to get out. Yeah, dragonc0 is key locked at the moment. They do need to go through the lily pad basement with the lily pad to be able to access the back end of Deepwood Shrine without any keys. Hendrus is going to dip into Royal Valley. They have everything they need. Royal Crypt is required. This is a completely reasonable play right now. A very early one, 44 minutes. Their first element is going to be the Royal Valley, the Royal Crypt element. dragonc0 again leaving the lily pad. They need to move with the lily pad through this lily pad basement. Alright, there's dragonc0's small key. Hendrus is in Lost Woods at the moment. They have picked up, they've made their way through in the darkness. When they're in the dark, they don't aggro any of the enemies here. So it's just a case of memory and remembering where to move. Right, Deepwood Shrine was being mean and decided to lock all of its keys in the back. What else is going to be available for us in Deepwood? dragonc0 has a decision here. They're going to use their small key that they have to open up the Adder Pillar fight. Without the lantern, they do need to waste a key here. Hendrus getting trolled by the genie. That genie does not like you creating your clones. and it always comes to say hi. Right, dragonc0 finds the big key in the Gust Jar chest of Deepwood Shrine. They are completely out of keys, and they do need to pick up their small key that is on the warp location by quick warping to the beginning of the dungeon and going through the blue warp. Now they have a choice here. They can use this last small key to check one of two locations. But their last small key is going to be on the boss. There's another book for Hendrus in Royal Crypt. That's all of the items that they're going to find here. The rest of the items are going to be keys, and then the last item will be their element. Deepwood Shrine isn't element locked. Isn't lantern locked, but Royal Crypt is lantern locked. There are some switches that you need to hit. You need to activate some switches in the next area with the lantern. Oh yeah, that's right. They do have one of the small keys is locked behind the big key, which was on the Matapilify, which does mean Deepwood Shrine is lantern locked right now. Luckily, dragonc0 called it right and did get the boss key here. If they instead used the small key to open any of the other doors, they would be locked out of the dungeon until they got their lantern. Right, so our runners are picking up their first elements at exactly the same time. And from completely different dungeons. But dragonc0 is not done in Deepwood Shrine. With that small key, they can check the last two locations in the dungeon. There's the vanilla boss key chest in the basement, and then there's also the Moldoza fight on the right-hand side of the dungeon. Yeah, dragonc0 has all of the items all of the dungeon items except for the map. They've found their compass so far, so that one of these items has a map. If this isn't a map on this spot here, then he can leave and avoid going into the basement. Okay, there is the map, so he is going to have to go into the basement and check out the chest that is down there. Hendrus going for another dip into Mount Krenel. They do have the cane right now, so they can do the skip and make their way into Cave of Flames. However, Hendrus's progression right now is the Gust Jar, which is on Simon Simulator. Yeah. Hendrus is dipping Cave of Flames right now. If he finds his Force Sword, that is huge. But it is a non-element dungeon. He is not required to do this. Right, nothing in the rupee spots at the beginning of the dungeon, just a small key. He's set the quick warp in the dungeon, so he's gonna go round the long way at the top of Mount Krenel and check out the Beanstalk. The Beanstalk up there does have 9 checks, so it's not unreasonable there is something there. It is the last Beanstalk they haven't checked. dragonc0 has finished up Deepest Shrine. Right, where does dragonc0 want to go now? dragonc0 does need to make his way to Mount Krenel to get those power bracelets. But it looks like they're going to decide to go into Temple of Droplets. If they do, that is it's going to help them out slightly because they will be getting the grip ring, which will make going up Mount Krenel a bit easier. Right, Hendrus is going to check and see what the if the grip ring was actually needed for anything. Okay, there is nothing at the top of the Mount Krenel beanstalk. So there's one more item up here that they can check to see if the grip ring is required. However, the grip ring is going to be required for going up Vale Falls and getting to Palace of Winds, so a Temple of Droplets dip is going to be required. Remember, the items we're looking for now is a sword, the mitts, the digging mitts, and 3 more kinstones. Right, Hendrus dipped out of the top of Mount Krenel. Did they get the rain chest? I think they did. They're not going to be going into into Cave of Flames though. They checked those first 5 rupees and that was enough for them. They activated the warp, so if they get the ocarina, they can go back for it. And Hendrus does have 2 books currently, so if they find another book and the ocarina, that does unlock Yalari. Oh, dragonc0 is missing the fairy cave at the beginning of Mount Krenel. Okay, they're heading back to it. Right, yeah. They're gonna find their power bracelets now. Right, they need to use these power bracelets to get the shield from Lake Hylia Cabin, and then come back to Mount Krenel to get their red sword from the scrub on Mount Krenel. Okay, Hendrus is going to be using the cane to go and check Southern Vale Falls. There's a scroll for Hendrus. It looks like it's dash attack. Hendrus has already peaked the Rupee Mania spots on outside of the Mitts cave here, so they do know that they don't need to pick up those items. Yeah, Hendrus does have a powerful enough sword and also sword skills to be able to do Simon Simulator. dragonc0 hasn't uncovered one of the patches of dust there. Needs to... Gonna have to regrow and remove the dust there before they can get the item. Right, Hendrus is going for Temple of Droplets round 2 with the lantern this time. They don't have the gust jars, so if there is anything in the gust jar locations in the basement, they're gonna have to come back again. Also, if the blue chew does have something, again, they're gonna have to come back later with the gust jar. Right, he's got all of his small keys. Hendrus has done a lot of the town checks, however, it's pretty much just Simon Simulator that they haven't done. Yep, there are three gust jar checks in Temple of Droplets. The an ice block, the blue wigglers, and the ice wigglers. Okay, there's another bottle. dragonc0 is just going to be checking through lower chronal locations that we've seen Hendrus check. Hendrus is going to come across a lot of items down here. There's 3 items here in the dark maze with 1 in the bombable wall. Then there's also going to be 5 rupee items at the end of the path. Okay, dragonc0's made their way up to Mount Chronal proper. They have 2 more things that they can get here before they have to leave. Hopefully they're going to make their way over to Mount Chronal. They're going to make their way over to Lake Hylia and get that shield. Okay, Dark Maze only giving junk right now. Dragon has found everything in Mount Chronal, needs to leave and go and find progression in Lake Hylia. Okay, they've got 3... we just got a Kinstone check from Dragon. They have 1 Caster Wilds Kinstone and 3 Cloud Tops. They don't have the Veilful's Kinstone as what they're looking for right now. We still have no idea where the Veilful's Kinstone is, or could be. Hendrus didn't check out the Rupee Mania spots just yet. He's going to go and kill the Scissor Beetles first before going and doing that. Then there's 2 more items in the basement that they can get. We're wondering what's going through the head of Hendrus right now. Are they considering to fight Octo right now? We may find out after the Scissor Beetle fight. If they go through the bottom door, they're going to go and fight Octo. Okay, they didn't go down the bottom door. They're just activating the blue warp right now. Hendrus does have 11 hearts right now, so can go and check Waveblade. Okay, there is another bottle. And the last book. We have 1 Ocarina to find, and then we can go and check Yulari. dragonc0 is doing Cuckoos. The first person to do Cuckoos at over an hour in. Does Cuckoos have a sword? Or the digging mitts? Or even a Kinstone? Right, he's got 3 seconds. Can he grab the cuckoo in time? Oh, it just runs out of time before he gets to throw it into the pen. It looks like Hendrus has already got the their item from Waveblade, but the did Hendrus go into the lily pad basement and pick up his 2 chests there? Dragon having to go again on the cuckoo game. Yeah, this throw here at the start is slightly precise. You do need to make sure that you go right up to the edge of the water before throwing that cuckoo. If you do fall in again, the cuckoo gets drowned and you have to reset the game. When you've dumped the cuckoo, that's when you need to leave and enter the area again, so you do need to go into and out of a load zone. It's much faster than waiting for the 1-minute timer to go down to 0. Dax has a very fitting emote right now for the cuckoo game. It encompasses many people's experience with it. Yeah, the cuckoo game is very frustrating. You do actually have to not practice, but get used to the how to do the cuckoo game. Okay, Hendrus has decided to go back to Castor Wilds. They've got a couple of spots in the Minish checks here. Their main progression item is going to be the Gust Jar in Simon's Simulator back in town. There's also possibility of something on Cuckoo game. Hendrus, Dragon is the first person that's going to be doing the Cuckoo game. Gets the first 2 Cuckoos in quickly. Now he's got lots of time to get this golden one in. He's gonna take his anger out on it first. Okay, done with 5 seconds. Yeah, Deepwood Shrine was barren, but it did it was lantern locked, so you were actually prevented from beating the dungeon if you made a mistake in there without the lantern. However, Dragon has beaten the dungeon. Right, Dragon has nothing else to do but to go over to Lake Hylia. Right, Hendrus getting another scroll that improves the speed of his spin attack. Once Hendrus has cleared out Castor Wilds, there is nothing left for him to do other than go back to town and do Simon's Simulator and also go to the school and check out the garden. There's another scroll. That looks like it's Rockbreaker. Hendrus looks like he's on 6 scrolls currently, so he does need another scroll before he can check the check the dojo in Castor Wilds. We need 7 scrolls to be able to go and learn the ability from the dojo there. Dragon is making his way into Temple of Droplets. We don't know if what is available in Temple of Droplets is required, except for the grip ring. Right, Hendrus has made his way through the hiking check and doesn't find anything. Okay, that is it for Hendrus. They've cleared out Castor Wilds. Castor Wilds was barren. Except for some scrolls. I think Hendrus does also realise they... did they do the... They didn't. They didn't do the rupee fairy here. This is a spot that does get left on its own quite often. And that is also nothing. Hendrus has nothing left but to go to town. Right, Dragon's picked up his big key. Now they're going to go and check out the Rupee Mania spots at the beginning of the dungeon and get their grip ring. Hopefully the grip ring is going to tell them to go to the... go back to Mount Krenel, but they do need to pick up their shield first before they do that. dragonc0 does have the option to go and check one more chest here. Are they going to go... Yep, they're going to make their way through this section of Temple of Droplets to get to the underwater pot. Hendrus is also on Coco Game now. And also getting disappointed with the junk that it had. Few things left for Hendrus. They are going to do Simon Simulator. They're finally doing Simon Simulator. They're going to find their Gust Jar. Be very mad that the Gust Jar is on that spot that they've put off for so long. Ooh, and he gets tapped by the Keaton and doesn't get to do his spin attack. He does have great spin attack, though. Okay, dragonc0 has picked up their last item in Temple of Droplets. They need to grab the shield from the... Oh no, they have the Gust Jar. That's right, they have the Gust Jar. They can use their the small keys that they got to actually continue their way through Temple of Droplets right now. Even though they don't have the lantern, they have access to be able to go through the rest of the dungeon. They just forgot to activate the lily pad on their way over here. So they had to reset back to the beginning, and they're going to have to use a small key here to open this locked door and get access to their lily pad. We're going to see some vanilla movement through Temple of Droplets. But they are going to be able to check out 2 locations that Hendrus wasn't able to. Alright, Hendrus is going into Deepwood Shrine. Now they do have the lanterns, so they can't get lantern locked out of this dungeon. We are still wondering where progression is, though. dragonc0 is going to be doing these gust jar checks in Temple of Droplets. There could be progression here. Yes, we do have the possibility that progression is in Cave of Flames. Yeah, Dragon needs... so Dragon's next logical sword is in Mount Krenel. They need to... it's on the Mount Krenel grip ring scrub. So they have seen where their shield is. Their shield is in the Lake Hylia cabin, which they're near to right now. After they've done Temple of Droplets, they need to go and grab the shield from there, then head over to Mount Krenel, where they can get their red sword and go to Western Woods. Once they get to Western Woods, they're going to get all of the items that Hendrus has that they were missing. Again, the ice physics are causing some issues. The ice physics really do not like to play nice. Link's momentum is maintained throughout whatever actions you do. So if you move along and use the gust jar, then Link goes stationary and then starts moving again after he's using the gust jar. So unfortunately, they don't know how to do the lily pad skip with the in the basement here, so they're probably going to be doing the puzzle. Yeah, they want the lily pad to spawn there. They do. In order to make the lily pad spawn there, the lily pad needs to be moving on screen whilst you're doing a screen transition. And then that lets them skip doing this puzzle. Yeah, also they do, they don't have the lantern, so checking this item, they won't even be able to check the item here. They can just use the gust jar to, they can just use the cape to avoid using the lily pad here. But they're going to be doing the puzzle instead. Hendrus got key locked in Deepwood Shrine and had to do the lily pads basement as well. Both our runners both doing the two lily pad sections of the game at the same time. Right, dragonc0's made their way to the blue warp in the dungeon. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to check any more checks after this, except for the they can go to the Rupee Mania spots that are in the room below here. But other than that, they can't do anything more because they do need to be able to create clones. With the green sword, they can't do that. They need to find one more sword before they can create any clones. And luckily for them, there is only junk left in Temple of Droplets. Yeah, they can't push this switch until they get their next level sword. So they are locked out of Temple of Droplets right now, other than those 5 Rupee Mania spots which they have access to. Hendrus picked up their big key and they're going to go to fight the boss right now of Deepwood Shrine. Hendrus is going to be picking up his second element. While in Temple of Droplets, dragonc0 picks up their grip rings, so they do have a few more locations available to them on Mount Krenel. Hendrus on the last cycle of the Green Shoe fight, getting the 5 jump RNG. Okay, now he's finishing up the Green Shoe fight. He's going to be picking up his second element. dragonc0 going and getting the Castor Wildskin Stone from the figurine house. Hendrus is skipping that small key in on the boss because they know they've skipped a small key usage, so they know that they can use the last 2 small keys to check out the last 2 spots. They are looking for they have the again they're going to be in the same position as dragonc0. They have 1 item and 1 map left in these 2 checks. Unfortunately they're going to be getting the map in this Moldoza check, which means they're going to have to go down into the basement to get disappointed down there. Yeah, Dragon is on 1 HP right now. Hopefully they'll be picking up a piece of a heart or a heart container and can that will boost their health back up to max. Yes, dragonc0 did pick up a fairy in a bottle at some point. They do have one of those, so even if they die, it's not going to be too much of an issue. They did pick up the fairy that's in that tree that you can bonk into. Okay, dragonc0 is going to be using the grip ring to make their way up Mount Krenel. Now, without the cane, they're going to have to go through the long way to Cave of Flames. Now, since Hendrus has cleared out much of the rest of the overworld, we know that either progression is on 1 or 2 spots in Temple of Droplets, or it's in Cave of Flames. Okay, Hendrus has cleared Deepwood. And with the Gust Jar, they're going to go check Greggle. At the beginning of the seed, chat was going insane, saying, "This is a jet seed, this is amazing, Nori, please gen all of the seeds." And I went, "Hold on, this may not be a jet seed, just hold your horses, Fortress and Palace are required." And everyone's changed their tune now. We're looking into that. It's not ban-worthy yet. Yeah, Nori is the last person in the community that is allowed to gen seeds. Everyone else has been banned at this point, so if Nori gets banned, we are going to have to call off the tournament, unfortunately. There's just no one to gen any seeds for us. No, Blue Z, excuse me, I saw your seeds. You are not genning any seeds. Right, both of our runners are on Mount Krenel right now. Hendrus is going to be making their way into Cave of Flames. But they're just going to set the quick warp. They want to save here if they're going to save scum these checks. Because they don't have the Ocarina. Yeah, to resolve this whole banning of people that generate seeds, we're going to have to make a bot that is going to generate our seeds for us. Right, Hendrus finds junk there. Gonna quick walk back to being Minish and make their way back into Cave of Flames. When entering Cave of Flames there, you can save, and then once you do these checks and realise it's junk at the end, you can reset your game and be immediately at the beginning of Cave of Flames and skip this backtracking section. We won't ban the bot, we'll just have a command that lets us punish the bot for being bad. Right, so Hendrus has a small key on the first checks in Mount Krenel. In Cave of Flames, there is one small key. dragonc0 is making their way through the vanilla checks, the vanilla path to Cave of Flames at the top of Mount Krenel currently. Doing the swag strat with the Helmasaur killed, nice. And Hendrus also getting trolled by these those Helmasaurs. Not getting a particularly nice fight. dragonc0 is going to be following closely behind Hendrus, but only going to be able to check a certain number of the spots here in Mount Krenel, in Cave of Flames, as they don't have the cane. The cane is locked behind their sword, which is they need to go back to Lake Hylia and grab their shields to get their sword here on Mount Krenel. And Hendrus gets another scroll for their spin attack. And now they're going to be checking their last chest at the front here. And there's the big key. Alright, Dragon's only weapon to fight these spiny beetles is the bombs. Right, Hendrus has saw that there was junk on the bomb wall heart piece, and they're gonna check out the. They're gonna be getting the. Okay, they didn't. They got a small key from the Spiny Chew fight. Using the Great Spin strat there, speed up the section. Now they've got one more check with the pillar spot here before they can go back to. They can make their way down into the basement. I've not seen dragonc0 do a seed before. They are a Link's Awakening and Oracle of Ages runner. Now this Cave of Flames dip isn't really paying off for anyone right now. There's no progression to be found yet. There are still a handful of chests left in the basement. Unfortunately for dragonc0, they're not going to be finding anything because Hendrus has just spotted all of the checks for that we can find, and this is going to be dragonc0's last chest before they have to bail out, and it's just going to be a small key. So dragonc0 no longer has anything else that they can do here and has to bail. Oh, but they did use a small key at the start to skip to the back. They do have 4 chests at the front that they can go and check. Unfortunately, none of those chests are going to give them anything. Right, Hendrus is making his way through the Cave of Flames basement with the cape. The cape is a fantastic item for this basement as it skips up a lot of the movement here, letting you skip a lot of the movement with the platforms and with the gliding with Eslo. Hendrus finds this compass in the chest in the blade chest in Cave of Flames. Right, Hendrus has picked up all of the chests. Now there's a kinstone! What kinstone was that? It was a Cloudtop's kinstone, so it doesn't actually open up anything. If it was either of the other 2 kinstones, it would have opened up something, but that has not done anything for them. Right, now they're going into Gleerock. When they beat Gleerock, they're going to get 3 items. I think they've already found the map and compass so far, so it is guaranteed that they're going to be getting 2 items from the boss itself, and then they can check Malari for another item. Then that's it for Hendrus at Mount Krenel. They're going to have to go back to Temple of Droplets, or there's still a couple checks in town. Did the school garden and school roof get checked? Because if they did, then they've done everything. And there's also the half ledge. Okay, they did. Did we see what the heart piece item was in the basement? Sorry, in the school garden. It was just a rupee. Okay, and they've also checked the half ledge. I didn't see them go back and do that since they got the lantern. But if they did, then yeah, that's it. And they need to go back to Temple of Droplets. It's a very quick check, and the last time they were in town, they should have done it. But yeah, there are 2 more chests in Temple of Droplets. There's the there's Blue Chew, and then there's the Ice Puzzle Frozen chest. Alright, dragonc0 has got everything in Cave of Flames right now and needs to bail out and go to Temple of Droplets. No, they've done everything in Temple of Droplets. They need to go to Lake Hylia and get their shield. That is their progression right now. Hendrus finds the boomerang. Boomerang does not open anything, but it's such a great luxury item to have. Unfortunately, Hendrus has already done a lot of the Scissor Beetle fights, so it's not going to be very helpful. If they have to go to the library basement, then they can use the boomerang to help them out there. And Milari has the wake-up shroom. Does Rem have anything in town? Right, Hendrus is heading directly to town right now. I think they also picked up another scroll, so they can also go to Swiftblade in Castor Wilds. Does Rem have the mitts? The mitts is one of the big items that is locking us out of checks right now. What is it going to be? No! That is a kinstone! That is the Vale Falls kinstone! Nori is permabanned from Rolling Seeds ever. Right, Hendrus is going to make their way up Vale Falls now with that Vale Falls kinstone. That is such an incredibly bad location for it to be on. Oh, Hendrus accidentally getting hit by the Whisper there. Gonna have to wait it out. Yeah, so with the Wisps, the Wisp, the amount of time that you're cursed by the Wisp is actually on a timer. So you have to wait out the timer before you can use any items again. However, when you get set on fire, You're actually on a different. It's a different thing that counts how long you should be set on fire, and you can reduce that amount by spamming in direction inputs. So if you are on fire, you'll see runners spin around in a circle, and they get put out from being on fire very quickly. However, unfortunately, that doesn't work when you have the when you've been cursed. dragonc0's checking out the shop. The shop unfortunately doesn't have anything for them. They do have 10 hearts, so they can go back to Waveblade now. They're just looking what they can get right now. They saw the shield in the lake cabin. They've picked up the power bracelet since then, so that's where their progression is right now. They need to remember that that's where their shield was. Meanwhile, Hendrus is going to be checking out this Rupee Mania cave here. Going to see if there's anything in here. There could be the Four Sword. Yeah, Dragon only has 3 scrolls right now. He needs to have 7 if he wants to go to Castle Wilds, and he doesn't even have the red swords to be able to make his way there. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything in the Rupee Cave for Hendrus. There's the last bottle. That is all 4 bottles. But there's still the dog food bottle somewhere. The dog food bottle is just a fetch quest item. It isn't an actual bottle itself. Right, Hendrus is going to be making their way through Cloud Tops and into Palace of Winds. This is quite rare that you're going to go to Cloud Tops for your first time with all 5 of the Kinstones. So he's going to be activating all of the fusions on his way through. Palace of Winds is a required dungeon. At this rate, it's very likely that we could have a Kinstone up here, or we could have the last Kinstone. The last Kinstone is the Castle Wilds Kinstone, which will give access to Fortress. We're also looking for our mitts and a sword, so there are the 3 items that we are left looking for now. Okay, dragonc0's just remembered where the shield is. They're going to be picking up the shield. They can't move the bookcase. They need to be a Minish to be able to get in through the crack. They have the power bracelets now, so they can do it. Right, dragonc0's finally getting some progression. With the shields, they can check 2 more locations. They can check the Trilby Deku Scrub and the Mount Crenel Deku Scrub. The Mount Crenel Deku Scrub is going to be where their red sword is. When they have their red sword, they can make their way into Western Woods and get their red sword. Oh no, they can't. They're not pushing the item. They walked through the item and thought they couldn't pick it up, but they need to push it off the ledge. Yeah, the item hitbox is basically non-existent. You do need to stand inside of it and walk down. If you walk down, then it pushes it off the ledge. Yeah, if they walk down in the position that they're in now, it will push it off the ledge. Hendrus picks up his remote bombs. Oh, there we go. They've figured it out. They've got the shield off of the ledge. Okay. Right, now they can grow big and pick up the shield. Okay, Hendrus has full cleared the cloud tops and is going up into the Wind Tribe. Okay, dragonc0 has their shield. There's the mitts! The mitts were on Greggle too! And we're still not in go mode yet. There's still 2 more items we're looking for. We're looking for another sword and the last kinstone. Hendrus is probably going to have to dip into Palace right now and hope that they find it. Late Mitts is such a horrible item to find because there are Mitts caves all over the map and the backtracking is going to take forever. They don't even have the ocarina to speed up this travel. They're going to have to do it all on foot. Oh, and they picked up the ocarina! I'm blind! They've picked up their ocarina, so they can go and check Yalari as well. Meanwhile, dragonc0's making their way up Mount Krenel. They need to go to the Krenel Scrub here. They'll be getting their red sword. Okay, Hendrus finds a small key in the first chest in Palace of Winds. Getting set on fire and then spinning around quickly to get them put out of fire as quickly as possible. Hendrus is going to go for bomb strats on the Wizrobes. So the Wizrobes die in 1 hit to being set on fire, and also 1 hit to a bomb explosion. So using a combination of both, you can kill the Wizrobes incredibly quickly. Okay, dragonc0 has got their red swords. They can start doing some checks which require creating clones. Right, what was that on the Wizrobe fight? Was it... Okay. They get the jump the first time. There's no big key. There is the big key. They've got a big key and 1 small key at the entrance to Palace of Winds. This is looking fairly safe. Hendrus could safely skip Pop Puzzle right now, and it hopefully won't hurt them too badly. They can skip the pot push puzzle, and when they go through that section later on in the dungeon, they can do a double check to see if they are required to go back and pick it up. Okay, dragonc0's now making their way into Western Woods. They're going to find their their blue sword, and they're going to find their cane. Right, there's dragonc0's cane. Now, with the cane, they do need to go back to Cave of Flames and clear out and beat the dungeon to get this room from Malari to go to Rem and get their Baleful's Kinstone. I don't believe I'm saying these words right now. Okay. dragonc0's also picked up his lantern. The lantern was also in Western Woods. Hendrus is playing it safe and deciding to do Pot Push Puzzle. No, we haven't seen the Blue Chew. There are the checks in Temple of Droplets we haven't seen are the frozen ice blocks in the basement, the Blue Chew fight, and also Octo. They're the checks that we haven't seen yet. Since Hendrus picked up their mitts, they have a lot of access, a lot of items unlocked in North Hylo Cape Cave. Okay, dragonc0 has picked up a lot of progression just now. They have a lot of checks that they can go and do now. Right, what is going to be on Pot Push Puzzle for Hendrus? It's just the compass. It looks like dragonc0 is going to be going through going through Castor Wilds. Unfortunately, Castor Wilds is entirely barren. There is nothing important to be found there. Alright, Hendrus spots another small key in the visible spot in Palace of Winds. So now on the flail soldiers, they're going to, by key logic, they're guaranteed to get a small key here because they've collected all of their items so far. They are guaranteed to have at least 2 small keys by the time they get to the top of this dungeon. And they're at the top now, so this is a small key. Are they going to go to the left? Yep, they're going to go to the left. And not gambling this dungeon at all. They're going to full clear it, even if it's slightly slower. Just to make sure that they don't miss their last Kinstone and their last sword. Alright, Hendrus onto the Moblin fight at the top of this dungeon. Oh, gets hit by one of the Ice Wiz robes. Oh, and gets sniped by another Ice Wiz robe. Oh, these Ice Wiz robes are mean. Right, Hendrus has made their way through the fan loop. And it's the bottle of dog food! Does Fifi, the dog in Lake Hylia, have something? And there was nothing at the top of Palace of Winds. Oh, unfortunately getting trolled by the Dark Nut there. Not quite getting the strat where he knocks him. But the Dark Nut goes close enough to the edge that he gets knocked off the edge. Okay, Hendrus is now into the second half of Palace of Winds. Going to be 100% clearing this dungeon, making sure to not skip anything. Hendrus is looking for 2 more items, the last Kinstone and the last sword. Now dragonc0 is clearing through Castle Wilds. Unfortunately, it is completely barren. They're not going to find anything here. They need to make their way back to Cave of Flames. They picked up their cane recently, so they need to be following the cane to Cave of Flames. Beating the boss of Cave of Flames is going to give them access to Cloudtops and Palace of Winds. Hendrus being slightly turned around in Palace. There's a lot of side rooms that you can enter, but they don't really have anything. You just want to just go a straight line through the dungeon. Right, onto the Twin Wizard fight. dragonc0, meanwhile, going through the diminished checks in Castle Wilds. Yeah, dragonc0 double checking what elements are required. They have the boots and a blue sword and the graveyard key, so they can go to the graveyard and get their element that's required there. Hendrus getting lucky with a fairy, grabbing that in a bottle. Right, Hendrus is now at the top of Palace of Winds. They need to go and hit up the heart piece because that had a small key. They saw the small key on their way up. Okay, dragonc0's nearly done in Castle Wilds, and we're going to see where he's going to decide to go after he gets this last check. There's another small key for Hendrus. Hendrus, go and get that small key on the heart piece. Okay, he's going to go get it. And that's all of Hendrus' small keys for Palace of Winds. And then you can just go and check the last set of items at the top. Okay, dragonc0's got everything here. In Castle Wilds. There's a couple more locations they're gonna check first. They're gonna use the bow here and check the chest that's at the center of Castle Wilds. No, they've already got that chest. They think they skipped one of the Minish checks, so they're going to go and shrink again and go down. Hendrus finds Tingle Trophy. Tingle Trophy at the very top of of Palace of Winds. It's in the Bombarosa maze. Does Tingle have a sword or a kinstone? Is this going to be a fetch quest seed? We have 2 more fetch quest items that we found in Palace. We have the dog food and Tingle trophy. So far, every fetch quest item has been has given progression. There was a kinstone in the Karlov house, and there was also a kinstone behind the wake ups room. Okay, there's our last kinstone. The last kinstone is in the last chest of Palace of Winds. We've finally found a sea that has had progression in that chest. However, we're still looking for one more item. So our last item that we're looking for is the Force Sword. Can we get a bet set up? Put your bets in chat. Where do you think the Force Sword is going to be? Alright, the bot is up. Where is the Force Sword going to be? Right, exclamation mark, bet, and your guess in chat. Right, dragonc0 has left Castle Wilds. Where are they going to go now? Okay, Hendrus is onto the Georg fight now. They do have great spin attack, so this should hopefully help out with the fight. They're also are they going to be using down? They're using the down thrust strat on Georg, so you can completely avoid having to create clones in this fight by using the down strike with the cape, and it hits all of the eyes, no matter what pattern they have. And then using the Great Spin whilst on the blue Georg lets you hit the eye and kill that eye in one cycle. Hendrus getting a really good Georg fight. Unfortunately, Georg didn't have anything on them, and Palace of Winds is full cleared. Now Hendrus has the Ocarina, so they can zip around the overworld and check what spots. Okay, where are they going? They're going to go to Castle Wilds. They're going to be making their way into Fortress of Winds. dragonc0 opting to go back into the fountain. They've got the cane since the last time they were here, so they can get this check. Hendrus finds a Peril Beam at the beginning of Wind Ruins. Hendrus also has the remote bombs, which are very nice. Remote bombs let you do a lot of fast strats through this section. The Armos Knights die in a single bomb explosion, and with the remote bombs, you can place and then detonate a bomb wherever you want. So it makes killing the Armos Knights very easy. Hendrus finds another scroll in the Wind Ruins. Yeah, that was Hendrus's roll attack. Right, dragonc0, their progression at the moment is in Cave of Flames. They, however, do have a lot of checks available to them in the overworld. Is that it for Hendrus? Is that all of their... Is that all of their scrolls? Or is that 10 scrolls? But they do pretty much have all of the scrolls they need. I don't think they have Sword Beam. If they if they don't have Sword Beam, then they've got all other scrolls. Right, Hendrus setting the quick warp at the beginning of Fortress of Winds. However, there's 2 Minish checks here in Wind Ruins. They're going to go check out first before doing the checks in Fortress of Winds. Hendrus is 1 item from Go mode right now, so they are prioritizing just finding that item, and then they can make their way through the rest of the game in Go mode. And it's just some bombs. Right, that was my bet. So my bet was the Minish hole there, and unfortunately there was not the Four Sword there. Yeah, Hendrus is going to make their way onto the left-hand side of Fortress of Winds. This is quite a heavily loaded side of Fortress, since there are 7 Rupee Mania Rupee spots here on the left-hand side. Okay, there's the last scroll for Hendrus. Hendrus sees their beam sword and a scroll, and then that is it. Oh, and there is also a butterfly for their arrows, their bow. They can now shoot faster arrows. And that is the boss key for Fortress, so at any point they can go and fight Mazao. They're gonna finish off the rest of this side of the dungeon, and then there's no reason why they shouldn't go and fight the boss. The boss is required. Hendrus getting trolled by the platform. The moving platforms in this room can be very awkward to try and deal with. Yep, and Hendrus showing off how you can kill the Igors. Two different strategies for killing them. If you have the butterfly, the butterfly for the bow, you can fire 3 quick shots to kill those Igors. Or if you've got the light arrows, which you get from getting both of your bows, you can fire a light arrow shot into their eye, and it kills the Igors in 1 hit. And there is a small key on the drop. That will be their 3rd small key, so there's only 1 more small key they're looking for in Fortress. But now they've completed the left-hand side, they're going to go and do the right-hand side first. They're going to go and check the visible spots that are here. And then they're going to go and make their way up the right. Right, dragonc0 is making their way through the Royal Valley. Oh, they did the left. They did the left. They did the secret chest, which is going left, 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 up, up, up. Once you've got that chest, you can just go up again, and it will take you into the graveyard. But they've gone back out to the entrance, and they're going to follow the vanilla path through the Lost Woods. Yeah, if you don't know the secret path through through Lost Woods, because Dampe in the vanilla game tells you where that chest is by saying you go left, 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 up, up, up. You so you only know that on when you've already gone through the Lost Woods and have talked to Dampe. So the first time you go through Lost Woods, you need to read the signs, and the signs tell you to go, I think it's up, left, up, right, up. And Hendrus picks up his Force Sword. Right, Hendrus is in go mode. Where was the Force Sword? Was it on the... It was in the center path switch in... Yeah, it was in the middle chest in Fortress of Winds. On the way to Mazao. Oh wait, was it in the big chest or the small chest in the center? It was the big chest. So yeah, it was in the the platform chest there. Ooh, I don't know who is closer, because Ibot and Nimbus both said the back end of Fortress, and I said outside of Fortress. So it's either Ibot or Nimbus. I think Nimbus is closest, because Ibot chose the last chest, where Nimbus was one before that. Wait, Allison bet. What did Allison bet? Somewhere dumb. Okay, Nimbus wins the bet. Right, Hendrus is now fighting Mazao. Getting trolled, but yeah, so Mazao's last statue there, pillar for dealing damage to him was in the middle. Right, Hendrus has picked up their last elements. They have all 4 of their elements, and they're in go mode. They have all they need to go to Dark Hyrule Castle. dragonc0 is at the end of the Royal Crypt. If they can finish this fight without dying, then they can pick up their second element. Yeah, dragonc0 does have a fairy in a bottle. They've kept a hold of that. Oh no, they're getting grabbed by the genie. They managed to mash their way out of that genie, only getting licked once. Oh, and then the second genie grabs them. Okay, they are now out of fairies. Meanwhile, Hendrus is in the cutscene in in Dark Hyrule Castle, activating Dark Hyrule Castle. Yep, so let's have a towers bet. How many towers are required to do this dungeon? So this dungeon has 5 small keys, 1 randomized item, and a map and a compass. They're gonna check 3 items here and a 4th item, and on their way through the dungeon. After those checks, they will then have to branch their way out and check the 4 corners of the dungeon for these 4 towers. There's there are different varying possibilities for how many keys you can have. There can be either 1 key, 2 keys, 3 keys, or 4 keys on those towers, on those 4 towers. So we could either have 1, 2, 3, or 4 towers required for this seed. So bet how many towers you think they're going to have to check. You can also add extra information into your bet to specify what you think. So if you say 2, you can say, for example, both the north towers as your guess. Oh, dragonc0 has decided to go to Templar Droplets. They activated the Octo, the first switch to fight Octo, but they've gone back to the lily pad. What they're gonna do here? Okay, they're gonna use the lantern here to check this chest, which unfortunately we know is junk. There is only 1 more ice block here in in Temple of Droplets that they can check, but they do need to use the lily pad. They need to make their way around with the lily pads to get to that block. Meanwhile, Hendrus gets the first 2 checks in Dark Horror Castle, gets a small key on both the big chest and the on the king in the basement. So that has ruled out 4 towers. There are not. We're not required to have 4 towers. It's at most 3. And they also found junk on the blade chest in Dark Horror Castle. We haven't checked any of the towers yet. We're making our way through Dark Horror Castle first. After the next chest, then there won't be any more chests until they go and check some towers. So there's one more chest before they get to the section where the towers are, and it will be after this Dark Nut fight. So Hendrus is going to be doing great spin strats to kill the Dark Nuts. Dark Nuts vary a lot in how we can fight them. There's lots of different strategies. And there's another small key. So there are 2 towers required. So now it's a guess as to which towers are going to be required. So they're in the 4 corners of of Dark Horror Castle, either north, west, northeast, southwest, or southeast. Right, dragonc0 is fighting the blue chew right now. Luckily, Hendrus managed to skip this fight, but unfortunately for dragonc0, they're going to be doing it, and they're not going to find anything of use on this fight. Yeah, Hendrus is currently outside the on the outside section of Dark Horror Castle. Then they're going to make their way back inside the front entrance here, and there will be a few more rooms, and then they'll fight a Black Knight. And then after the Black Knight, they have the option of going to all of the different towers in Dark Horror Castle. So all of this is just like the just a straight line section of Dark Horror Castle that you have to do every single time you do it. And just not getting a bomb to land on the blocks when he walked up to it the first time. They can be quite trolly, and you can walk against them and try and you mash the button to try and place a bomb down, and they just won't place. Right, he manages to get it on the way down, but unfortunately falls off and gets put back up on top of the grate. Has to wait for the platform to move its way around before he can jump back down. Our dragonc0 is going to be making their way through the dark maze of Temple of Droplets, and unfortunately they're still not going to find anything. dragonc0's progression is in Cave of Flames. They've already cleared the first half, they just need to go and fight the boss. Hendrus gets the quick kill on the Black Knight, pinning it in location. Okay, so Hendrus now has the option to go to all 4 of the different towers. Where is he going to go first? He's going southeast first. He's going to check the southeast tower. Has to kill the red Dark Nut first. This tower is the fastest tower to do, because once you've killed the Dark Nut, you can just go and activate this very quick puzzle. You just stand in the center. You do have to look closely at the pixels. It is pixel accurate. And you just do a spin attack and it hits all of the switches there. Then you can go and hit the switch, go up the stairs, and grab your first chest. And there is a small key. Right, so southeast is correct. Where is the last one? So my bet was 2 towers, northwest and southeast. If we get northwest as one of the keys, then I have won the bet. Yeah, Rylux, where's Rylux's bet? Yeah, both of the south ones. So, yeah, Hendrus is checking the southwest chest now, so we can see if this is a small key, then Rylux wins. Okay, so Rylux is incorrect. There is one more tower. Is Hendrus going to do this one next? He's going to go check the 2 north towers. He's going to do northeast. So if this is a small key, then Nori wins. If it's not, then I win. Hendrus going for the remote bomb strats. Remote bombs, throwing remote bombs at the Dark Nuts works out really well with these guys. Unfortunately got set on fire there, so that firebar you can actually roll through. Right, Hendrus has made his way to the northeast chest, and what is it? It's a small key! So it was both of the eastern chests. Northeast and southeast were where the small keys are. Right, so Nori wins that bet. Alright, Hendrus is going to stock up on some fairies first before he goes into this fight. Hendrus has the big key for the boss now. All they need to do is go and fight Vati. So, currently in the randomizer, and for the duration of this tournament, the boss key is not going to be randomized. It is always in the big chest in Dark Harrow Castle. We need to collect all of the small keys in the dungeon and go and get the boss key. Right, so Hendrus is making their way through the gauntlet. Those of you who are familiar with Link to the Past Gauntlet are going to be incredibly disappointed. That was it. All they have left to do is this Dark Nut fight and then move on to the Vati fights. But this Dark Nut fight is, many people consider to be the hardest fight in the game. These Dark Nuts hit like an absolute truck. If they charge up and do that screw attack on you, it can take away a huge amount of hearts. About 6 to 8 hearts, somewhere in that range. Doing great spin strats is fantastic on these guys. They die in 3 hits. The red Dark Nuts die in 3 hits, and the Black Knight dies in 4 hits of the great spin. And when there's one guy left, you can do your cape strat of jumping over them and then hitting them once they've done an attack. Right, Hendrus has made their way onto Vati 1. Getting reasonably good luck on Vati 1. Very, very good last cycle on Vati 1 there, managing to get the 3 cycle with the Great Spin strat. Now they're on to Vati 2. What kind of luck are they going to get on Vati 2? Ooh, Dragon dies in Templar Droplets, but luckily they hit the switch so that they can use the red warp to get back. Unfortunately for Dragon, the red warp, the section of Templar Droplets that they're doing at the moment to get to Octo is completely pointless. There is nothing on Octo. Their progression is in Cave of Flames. Right, Hendrus is on Vati 2 now. They look like they're on the last cycle of Vati 2, but he's being incredibly trolly and stopping constantly to do electricity attacks. Hendrus is just going to keep on letting rip loads of arrows here, just try and hit that last one. He's got 70 arrows in his quiver. He's not going to be worrying about arrows at this point. Yeah, Vati 2 is a bit of a troll, and you do have to just... it comes down to just experience and practice, getting a feel for how he moves. And getting the last hit off, and oh, he doesn't get the triple. He did a great spin there instead of doing a regular sword spin. After he did the spin attack, all he needed to do was land one sword slash on Vati, and it would have killed it would have finished off the fight. Oh, he's going to go for the downstrike strats. Oh, he doesn't land far enough into it, and he gets it. He manages to hit all of the eyes with the downstrike swag, and finish off the fight. Yeah, might as well grab those fairies that are in that pot, in those 2 pots there. Okay, now Hendrus is making their way on to Vati 3. At the same time, dragonc0 is going to be going into Octo. We're also going to see what Octo is going to give for us on this seed. Unfortunately, we do know it is not going to be any form of regression or any required items. Oh, Vati 3 being mean for Hendrus and giving him the wrong arm. But Hendrus gets off the pedestal quickly and makes sure that the arm is in an easy to reach location. Vati taking a while to decide to put down his second hand. Now, is Hendrus going to do lanternless strats? No, he's not. He's going to use the lantern in here. Okay, now Hendrus is on to the last part of that E3. Now he's going to be playing tennis and firing some blue orbs back at that E3. This section is very straightforward. All you need to do is fire those blue orbs back at him, and then you can throw a bomb at him and blow up the bomb to damage him. We do this 3 times to beat the boss. However, the aiming position that you need to be in front of him is very small, and if you're ever so slightly to the sides, it can cause the orbs to ricochet off in a wild direction. And since this is at the very end of the run, our runners are under a lot of stress to make sure that they nail these volleys. Races have been decided by a mistimed throw, and he gets all 3 and wins the race. GG's to Hendrus. Alright, GG Hendrus. We have Hendrus in here.
Good evening.
So, how was that?
It was a weird seed.
Yeah. Really front-loaded.
Yeah. I had to zigzag quite a lot. So the problem with this seed was that it gave you a lot of items at the beginning, so you weren't really sure where to go next. Usually, randomizer seeds are built, or they try to lead you on a little trail. Meaning that, I don't know, for example, you will get Cane at Castle Wilds, so you go to Cape of Flames next to get your next item.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
That didn't really happen for me. Well, I picked up a few items, but I couldn't really see the trail, basically.
Yeah, the trail was sort of non-existent. So it turned out that the trail was you go to Mount Krenel to get the power bracelets, to go to the lake cabin to get your shield, to go back to Mount Krenel to do the grip ring scrub. Like,
yeah.
What is that? that there is no like sense to that kind of logic. But yeah, and then that's where the red sword is.
Yeah. It took me quite a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
I know that I took a long time to find the fourth sword and basically do everything that I did after the blue sword. I checked Dr. Left fairly early, just because I had a hunch that it might be the power bracelet that unlocked the next progression item.
Yeah.
Which turned out to be in Lake. So, yeah. One thing that I'm a bit mad about is that Simon suddenly had the gas jar.
Yep, Simon Simulator. Yeah, and
Simon
also
has
the
never
cape.
something.
The cape was also in the basement of the school. Which was that a last location for you?
I think so. I think I did the entirety of town fairly late.
Yeah.
I think after I first went to Vale Falls, I figured out, this is going to be a zigzag seed, so every time you visit town, I'll do like 2 to 3 checks in town. Which turned out to be a fairly good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so this town was pretty loaded. I mean, so basically at the start of the seed, you and Dragon decided to diverge, and he went to the north and got his sword straight away, and you used your bomb bag and got the bow and other stuff from the Roofy Cave right at the start, and then you went to Minish Woods.
Yeah. That was mainly because in the last few practice seeds, especially the seed that Nesvin rolled, was yesterday? It was either yesterday or the day before that. We had a similar early outcome with early bomb bag, early flippers, and Minish Woods turned out to be a fairly good place for that. So I just figured that I'll repeat my strategy there. But other than that, yeah. Wind Tribe was loaded. which was really weird. And going through cloud tops without the mids, it just felt wrong to do it. That's probably why I tried to go to cloud tops as as late as possible, while not heading back into the Temple of Droplets.
So I think the biggest, the main thing about this seed was definitely doing non-required Cave of Flames to get the Wake Up Shroom from Malari to get your Veilful's Kinstone,
yes.
so you can make your way up to Cloud Tops. Wow, what?
I think I even got a Cloud Tops Kinstone in Cave of Flames.
Yeah, there was also that as well. That was your last Cloud Tops Kinstone. So yeah, again, not quite a rare thing, getting all of your Cloud Tops Kinstones before actually making your way up to Cloud Tops for the first time.
Yeah. And also, Palace of Winds having the last Cast the Wild Kinstone.
Oh yeah, we saw you 100%ing Palace of Winds, not skipping any of the checks there.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that neither Force Sword nor, I don't know, I think something else wasn't there when I got to Palace. But I think I tried to focus on getting Force Sword next. And I wasn't really a fan of the idea to abandon a pot push puzzle just to have the Force Sword being on pot push. So I did everything.
Yeah, we were talking about that. You did have enough keys that you could avoid doing pot push puzzle, but again, as you said, you're looking for your Force Sword. You're not going to gamble that it's not there.
Yeah. I also had a little bit of a brain fart doing pot push puzzle. I think I stopped for like 5 seconds just to rethink the whole road pot push puzzle because I haven't memorized it. I just do it like every two races or seats that I do, I somehow manage to switch up the pattern which I'm using to solve the pot push puzzle.
Yeah. I feel that it's like the tile puzzles in Dark Hyrule Castle. You just improv it every time. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, a late Mit seed is not very nice at all. We were kind of worried when you got the Mits because it was so late, and when you picked it up, you must have just been like green dots all over the map must have appeared, and yeah, that's not very nice to see when you're like 2 hours into a seed looking for your Force Sword, and you get the Mits, and it's like, oh, time to look for the Force Sword for an hour. But luckily, the Force Sword was in a really nice spot. It was on the way to Mazao.
Yeah, Fortress of Go mode again.
You couldn't have missed it. Yeah, again, Fortress of Go mode strikes again.
Who wrote the seed?
Nori did, and she's already been banned.
Then I'll unban her. It was actually, well, it could have been way worse. I think could have been way worse. I don't know how, but it could have been worse. That's just my gut feeling. And besides, I finished in 2.5 hours, which is actually fairly fast for me.
Yeah, that is a really decent time.
I think my average is about 2 hours 40 to 2 hours 50. At least it's been that, I think, last 1 to 2 weeks.
Right, so yeah, you've won your first round match, and you're moving on to the second round.
Hooray!
How are you feeling going up against Alison?
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings. I know that Alison has been running Minish Cap for about the same time as I have, or at least the randomizer of it. But he always manages to get first. Well, not first, but faster than me. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out. That's going to be a fun seed.
Right, do you have anything else you would like to say about the seed?
Not really in particular. While I was playing the seed, I thought that you were the guy rolling it, just because it's like such zigzag and it has your handwriting on it. Let's say that. But other than that, no further comment.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, GG's on your win. And yes, thank you everyone so much for tuning into our first tournament match. We've got lots more races lined up. Tomorrow we have another race, and the day after again. We've got 3 back-to-back races this week. Yeah, who do we have on the schedule for the next couple of matches? Just trying to pull up the schedule right now. So tomorrow we got Bluesy versus Hayden. That's going to be at 10 PM UTC, which is trying to do calculations in my head. No, 6 PM Eastern. And 11 PM European time. So, make sure to check that out. Oh, right, Thursday's race has been moved to Friday. That's going to be Romstein versus Fuzzy Games. So they're the 3 races that we've got scheduled for the first round of the Minish Cap tournament this week. Thank you so much to our trackers and, of course, for Nori for the restream. Now, I think we are going to do a raid. We're going to go and raid dragonc0 and wish them luck finishing up this seed. Oh no, it looks like they forfeited out.
Do you want to see if dragonc0 would like to come in just to
Yeah,
express any... Let me ask him.
Yeah, I'll ask and see if they want to come in.
Sorry for the keyboard. Okay. I think he's going to be joining us. So. Yes, he's going to be joining us. Oh,
Yeah,
there he is.
We're going to be... Okay.
There he is. GG's dragonc0, sorry about this.
GG. It happens.
Yes. Do you use an off-screen tracker? Or how do
Yeah.
you actually track?
Emu tracker.
Okay. You just don't stream it. Okay.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't fit anywhere, and I use a single screen setup, so I don't have a lot of space to actually get a broadcast view up.
Okay. I guess. So, what are your thoughts on the seed, dragonc0?
I thought I found my
shoot.
thing in.
I'm just gonna change to the interview screen since we're getting some echo.
I thought I found my what's it called, my kinstone in Cave of Flames to get into Fortress of Winds, but it turns out it was the cloud tops, and I misread that. So apparently that's not the one I needed, and now I'm stuck. So yeah.
Yeah, your progression was at Malawi. So you would have needed to kill Gleewok to kill the boss of Cave of Flames, and then had to diminish that reforges your sword. That diminish would give you the wake up mushroom for the shoe guy in town, who would give you your Cloudtop Skinstone.
Yeah, honestly,
this is.
This seed was super rough.
Yeah, I heard I banned.
Yeah, there was a lot of really
the
dumb
first one. The first
logic.
one was fine.
Yeah, the whole shield in the lake thing, that is just ridiculous.
That was fun. I like
and
that.
then yeah, also the wake up mushroom on Malari in the mines, again, just for the last Kinstone on Rem in the town. Yeah, again, that is just such a ridiculous sequence of events.
Yeah, it was kind of nice at the beginning, and then it got super trolly.
Yeah, we had
Fetch Quest City.
Basically everything at the start.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. I bought Malari Locks by completing non-element Cave of Flames.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just really glad that I didn't do Time of Droplets. Like, I didn't complete it. I went to the blue wall pad and just snagged the items below it, but I didn't do Octo and I didn't do Blue Chew.
I think you could have done Time of Droplets in one dip. You just grab the grip ring at the start, and then that's all you need. You just leave after that.
Yeah. Like I said, it was just me trying to figure out where I had to go next. I even thought of checking Tingo next and getting the dog food before heading into Fortress of Winds. But then I just thought that Fortress of Winds is Fortress of Winds, it's Fortress of God mode. So I just quickly went there without checking Tingo. And besides, Fortress of Winds had the element anyways, so if the Force Sword wasn't at Fortress, then I'll have to check Tingo, the dog, and do a few Mids caves all around town or map.
Any last thoughts or comments about the tournament besides the fact that I guess I'm getting first tournament seed and I'm banned already?
If I have any authority here, then I'll unban you.
Okay.
It could have been way worse. I don't know.
It could have been a Myth.
But
Myth did tell me to roll the seed, so I guess it's his baby too.
Yeah. I already said that.
Am I taking responsibility for overseeing this? I mean, I guess the whole tournament is going to be my responsibility, right?
It's fine. He was actually, well, it was fun. It was a fun puzzle to solve.
Yep, so we have Hendrus as the winner of this race. They are going to be progressing on in the winners bracket to be racing against Allison in the next round. dragonc0 is going to be moving down to the losers bracket and will be racing against the loser of race 16. I can't find where race 16 is. Oh, it's whoever loses to me.
Okay. Oops.
Or me if I lose.
Okay, so Myth, who's going to be allowed to roll the seed for you?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't even know if I get to choose. Whoever's coming is probably going to be rolling.
Well, it doesn't have to be a race mod, though.
Oh, yeah, we decided that.
You could get a Trez seed. That's probably scarier than anything I could roll. We could make arrangements for that in advance.
Yeah. Maybe Nesma will chime in and give you one of his his fairly complicated seeds.
Yeah, I see that, Nimbus. Yeah, I would be scared too.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next few matches.
Yeah, it should be fun. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely. Although, I have to say, I was quite nervous at the beginning.
Yeah, we had to reschedule by 15 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some technical things that we need to work on.
Yeah.
We'll do an announcement just to make sure that everyone is fully aware of the sequence of events.
Yes.
Before we set up for the tournament races.
Would be helpful.
Just a few little things to polish up. Okay. Any last comments or anything? GG's to Hendrus and dragonc0 for doing this inaugural tournament race. So thank you very much. Also,
thank you for hosting us.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Myth, for doing commentary. Always a pleasure to work with you. And also, big shout out to iBot and Rylux for doing the tracking today, so I did not have to do double duty.
And also, everyone that's tuned in today, if you would like to help volunteer for this tournament, there is a sign-up sheet in the Discord that you can go and sign up to help out with anything like tracking or with commentary.
If I can actually type. There we go. It's in the one of the tournament organization.
Yep, if you scroll down on the side, there is a tournament section
Yes.
for the randomizer, and all of the info you're looking for will be there. There's a tournament announcement and a discussion section. If you want, if there's any questions you have which aren't answered, then you can just ask in the discussion section.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this, as I said, inaugural tournament match for the Minish Cap Randomizer, and I guess my apparently special in quote mark seed. so I might be allowed to roll seeds under duress, possibly. So, but again, thanks everyone for joining us, and we hope to see you possibly, I believe, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's 10 p.m. UTC. Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, take care, and we hope to see you soon. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.